Lightest wheelchair is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
You're listening to Joco Community Radio.
Hello, Jobfather Nation. So excited to be here with you this morning. Just a quick reminder, we are honored and proud to be a part of Joco Community Radio. Joco Community Radio is the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and you can listen to them live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network. To listen, simply go to your app store on your phone, iOS or Android devices, download the app and listen to the lineup and more for free. We are excited to be here this Friday. Before we get started on our show today, let's have a quick word of prayer. All right. Father God, we're just thankful and honored to be here to serve you today. We thank you for the privilege and blessings to help those out in the network, open doors of opportunity for them as they're searching for jobs, and use us to bring wisdom and discernment. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Well, Jobfather Nation, we are excited. Foster, tell us, I know we've got some announcements and some things to share, but we have an exciting show today, don't we?
Yeah, we're really excited. Can you guys hear me okay? I've been having some technical issues.
I can hear you.
Yeah. Good. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Jobfather Nation. It's Friday. We're at the end of the week. You guys ought to be getting excited. It's almost the weekend. You got plans? We'll see. So I'm really excited because I've got my sister with us right here. I'm going to shut up so you guys can look down and see, we look just alike. You see us? She's Abby.
Mm-hmm.
She's absolutely Abby. Abby Kohut is with us. We're both recruiters. We've been both recruiters for a long time. A lot of you guys that are listening to me right now have met Abby. Abby used to travel all around the United States trying to help 1 million job seekers land jobs. And Abby got really, really popular. And we always had her speaking at many of our groups here in DFW. One minute she's in Houston, she's in LA, she's in Oregon, she's New York, she's all over. She's from New York, yes. So uh, all over the place was Abby, and so we buddied up and we started talking about the very thing that we do. And me, her, and Dana, we do the same thing. So we are here and we're going to hear from her. Before we do, we want to go and we want Dana. You got to call. I've got a job that
Please
I
do,
want
and
to
I'll
tell
go after
everybody
you.
about, and then you go after me. So, guys, I'm helping a friend. I need a HR generalist, a generalist guy. This person will probably have maybe 3, 4 years of HR generalist experience, just HR all over the place. Been here, done that, did a little bit of this, did a little bit of that in HR, maybe some. Uh, 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 well, this person, if you've got payroll experience, this is going to be the place for you. Call me, email me, talk to me about this opportunity. It is a remote role, guys, for a logistics company. You hear that, Carl? We're talking logistics. And uh, uh, so, guys, again, an HR generalist, not a manager, not an HR business partner, but an HR generalist. And if you have payroll experience, that is a plus for this position. It is remote. Uh, I know the lady that is uh, what am I trying to say? I'm losing words. The boss is out of
The
our
hiring
HR group.
manager.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And guys, this is the way this thing works. Is the way me and Dana are always talking about the network, and this is one of those opportunities that popped up in the network. The first person Christy called was Foster, and she knew that I was going to go out there, and she knew I was going to put it out for all of you guys to see, and she knew I'd say something good about her. Christy, are you? I know you're listening out there. If you have any input, just type it in the text as we're going. But guys, once again, HR generals, uh, experience with payroll would be a plus. Call Foster 214-728-6930 or email me foster.williams@sbcglobal.net. Okay, Dana.
Wonderful. Foster, that's so exciting that you have that position open. Well, right now in Dallas, Beacon Oral Specialist has a couple exciting positions open.
Oh, yeah.
We have a director of compliance position open with Beacon Oral Specialist here in our Dallas Fort Worth office. We also have a director of tax position open
Oh,
with Beacon Oral Specialists here in the Dallas Fort Worth office. We are also hiring a contract to hire IT project coordinator here in
oh,
Dallas Fort Worth at our corporate office. Our corporate office is located at 635 and 75. We're right behind Medical City, Dallas, and great environment. If you are interested, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I will put my email address in the chat so that Mez can post it. And by the way, we're so grateful for Mez. She is our hype lady, project manager, keeps us on
yeah.
track, and we wouldn't have this show without Mez. So we're very thankful for her.
Mez, we like you. We love you.
Mez is awesome.
She really is, guys. So, Dana, let me ask you a question real
Yeah.
quick. What are a couple of the key things for that IT project coordinator? Because I got a person in mind.
Yeah, it's really more of an entry level type role.
Okay.
We are this person will be helping with a lot of our integrations because we acquire oral surgery practices and then we have to integrate them on many levels into
Ah,
our corporate processes. So this person is going to be coordinating a lot of integration activities. They need to have a decent IT background, but it's
okay.
really a lot of stakeholder management, savvy, savvy with computer systems and different softwares. But it's not a heavy must have all these years of experience in certain types of software.
Okay.
They'll work with our project manager
Uh,
and day in and day out and get trained on kind of the ins and outs of it. But they'll be handling a lot of different projects for the IT team. Not all of it will be heavily technical, some of it will be, not all
uh-huh.
of it. And we can train.
So it doesn't sound, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it doesn't sound like they are really. Does the hiring manager care if this person comes out of healthcare if they've been in you guys' arena before?
Not necessarily.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Sounds like
that's
one of
not that important. Yeah. More
sounds like
important
a
is their
heavy lifting
stakeholder
job. It doesn't
management.
matter where you did your lifting, but you did the
Yeah,
lift.
they just want to make sure they're really great managing stakeholders, excellent customer support, smart, outside the box thinker, proactive, gets things done, gets it, really can get over that learning curve quickly.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I want to reach out while we're here. I saw Abby posted something. Abby, tell us a little bit about what you posted.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, first of all, I may have an HR generalist for you, Foster.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, she's awesome. She lives in Pennsylvania and she's looking. So
Okay, okay.
I'll let you know later.
Y'all see how this works?
So yeah, so I'm doing some contract recruiting at Prothena, which is a biotech based in California, and we have about 15 jobs open on our website. So if you go to that website and you feel that you are qualified and interested, you can certainly send me a note on LinkedIn and I will talk to you personally about it.
Perfect.
And then I have my own website, which is staffingsymphony.com.
Yes.
And there are usually about 2,000 plus jobs open on that site. So I just wanted to let everybody know about that.
Perfect. Staffing Symphony, guys, like symphony orchestra.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's a neat site. Abby and I've been talking about it for a while, and it's a neat site. It's a lot of things that are shared through our recruiter network all across the United States, and so
Right.
some of you guys go check it out. All you, my executive group. From yesterday, I was talking about it yesterday to you guys. Make sure that you go, and if you see something that you like, we are going to talk to Abby. She would be the one. Let me tell you again, it is Staffing Symphony. Look it
Yeah.
up and go there. Absolutely.
Yeah. There are jobs for all levels, for all cities, states, I mean, all around the country, all levels, and all industries. And these are jobs that are not posted on places like LinkedIn, Indeed. These are jobs posted by headhunters. And so they typically don't want to post jobs all over and get a million resumes. So they just post in a variety of sites. And this is one of them. So these are more of the hidden jobs that y'all are always asking me about.
I like the
Perfect.
yeah, we get a lot. I want to encourage the job seekers. A lot of our job seekers that we are that are in the network are like Carl. Carl is a VP level person, and this is not his first job out of college, kind of thing is what I'm saying. So, guys, we are in a time right now to where what the last holiday we had was Labor Day. So Labor Day to Thanksgiving, there's a big push. Companies all around the United States, a big push to get folks in before we all know what happens. We want to keep our foot on the gas as we're going into December, but we all know what happens in December. And so get out there, get it done now. That's why I'm glad I invited Karl to come and join us today. Karl and I are working on some things, and we're going to hear from him on the second part of the show. But guys, I want to reintroduce Abby Kohut. She is known as Absolutely Abby, and she's a recruiter, and she has been for years. She travels around the United States and connects and goes to the groups and speaks to people trying to help job seekers get the right job. Y'all, we don't want y'all to just take a job. It's not smart for you companies just to hire somebody because they're stressed out because they don't have a job. And yeah, I can do this job, but it's not really what I'm looking for. Well, when Abby and I hear that, we already know that you're probably not going to stay at that company. So and so
Mm.
you companies stop hiring people like that. Look at my face. Stop it.
That's too funny. You're awesome, Foster. Stop it.
Stop it.
Agree. Stop it. Stop
Yeah,
it.
this is a topic Dana, you and I've talked. We've talked about
Stop
so
it.
many topics before. You guys got 3 recruiters coming at you today. So, Abby, hey sis, And
Hey,
we got
Foster.
a few things that we want to tell you guys while we got short time to do it. I just saw Abby last Tuesday night. Abby,
Mhm.
each month, a lot of you guys join us on the Abby has a wake up call, what we call a career wake up call, and there are usually about 100 over sometimes over 100 people on the Zoom. And
Really?
Wow.
yeah, we just talk about stuff, Dana. We talk about things that job seekers should know about, how to approach this problem, that problem. There are a lot of questions that are asked and
Yeah.
answered.
Yeah.
And so I want to go over and say, hey, Abby, so
Hey, Foster.
tell us a little something else about your world and what you got going on right now.
So what I got going on right now is I am a contract recruiter.
Uh-huh.
And that means that I work in human resources, but I get paid hourly as opposed to getting a salary. And I've been doing this for around 17
hmm
years.
Wow.
And yes, and because I do this, that's what makes me able to come out to a job search group. That's what makes me able to do these part-time things on the side to try to help job seekers, because as Abby Kohut, I'm rejecting job seekers. And as Absolutely Abby, I'm telling job seekers the absolute truth.
That's right.
So I do a little of this and a little of that. But mostly what I'm doing right now is contract recruiting. And as you know, Foster, a contract recruiter is always looking for their next contract. That's
Always.
just the way it
That's the way it
works.
works.
Yep.
And if you're not looking for your next contract, the companies will help you look for your next contract because you know what they do to us. They lay us off, and contractors,
Yeah,
they hire us for a specific part of time, and
that's right.
we know that we got it coming. But y'all, a lot of contract in the majority of contracts, when we are in those companies doing that functionality for them, they don't
Yeah.
stop getting new clients. They don't
They
stop
don't.
moving ahead. And if as we go, majority of them will come to us and say, "Hey, we've had a good 3 months with you. We've had a good 6 months with you. Are, would you be willing to stay with us because we got some
Yeah.
more?"
No, that's true.
True.
Very
Yep,
true.
yep.
That
Dana,
is,
you've done that,
that is
haven't you?
I did for Karis. I started out
Harris.
contract for Karis, and within a year, I was blessed to go full. And in about a year and a month, I was able to go full time.
We're talking about
Mhm.
Caris Life Sciences, guys, and what they do is oncology research and stuff. Check them out. CARIS Life Sciences. Caris Life
Yes,
Sciences.
they are
I think,
hiring.
and Dana was there for like 10 years. She was.
Yes, a little over 10 years. I was very blessed.
I took a 6 week
Mhm.
contract years ago, and I said, okay, 6 week contract, so my rate's going to be really really high, and I rolled off that contract 2.5 years later.
Man, they needed you, didn't they?
Well, yeah, they kept doing that. I mean, they kept I was hired to hire project managers, and so
Yeah.
that continued. That didn't stop just because Foster's working there. They kept doing stuff. They got those overseas contracts and all that stuff. So it was really fun. So, Abby, there was a question that we had the other night that I want to cover because we
Okay.
want we want Abby's opinion. Y'all always hear me and Dana, but we want Abby's opinion on this thing. And that question was, what is in that interview? What is the first thing that we should focus on when they ask us? Tell me a little bit about yourself. We just got in the room, and y'all know
Uh,
we're getting back to normal now, so we're going and
yeah.
we're having person-to-person interviews, and then somebody walks in the room and they go, "Tell me a little bit about yourself." So what do they focus on? What do we tell them,
Yeah.
Abby?
Yeah. So I would say this is the hardest interview
Yep.
question
hmm
of all. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but to me, it's the hardest interview question of all, because the problem is you have no idea what anybody wants to hear about, right? So the best thing to do is to get off the question as fast as possible. And otherwise, what happens is you start rambling on and on and on and on, and then I can't ask my questions, and then you can't ask it's bad news. So what I tell people to do is to give them one of your success stories. So what you could say is, well, the first thing I do is give them 3 bullet points and then give them one of your success stories. So I'll just answer it for myself. So I'm a contract recruiter. I've been a contract recruiter for 17 years in the pharmaceutical industry. and I've hired about 10,000 people in my whole career. One of my greatest accomplishments is when I hired 400 teachers in 3 months. Would you like to hear more about that?
Wow. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank
I
you.
agree with it. Keeping it to the point. I've interviewed a couple people this week, and while they looked phenomenal on paper and they had great personalities, the one thing I found them doing was over communicating, just going
Oh my
on and
goodness,
on
yes.
and on. I didn't
Ah,
I needed
Yes.
to get to my what I think people need to realize is when someone calls to screen you and it's your initial screen, whether it's a recruiter screen, an HR
Yeah.
professional, or the hiring manager for initial call, there's certain basic things they need to get through to make sure that you check those boxes. And the best thing you can do for that person is directly answer their question. Don't beat around the bush. Be honest if you have the experience or not.
yeah.
Speak to it and give a quick example. Don't keep elaborating on and on and on and on and on. Then they can't get through the interview, and it can concern the hiring leader or the recruiter, because their worry is if they pass you to the next step and you're not able to articulate and answer a question directly without over expanding, how is that going to
Mhm.
look when you're working with these professionals in the
Right.
office?
Right.
Are you going to over communicate? Will you be challenged? Are you listening to what they're asking you?
Correct.
That.
Right. And can you imagine if you put them in front of a doctor, if you're a pharmaceutical sales rep, the doctor has about 2 seconds to meet with you. And if you go on and on and on and on and go on tangents, that doctor is going to say, I don't want this person coming back to my office. Right.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with and you've got to know your audience, right? And most recruiters, most hiring leaders, most HR professionals are really busy. They have a lot to get
Oh
through in a
man.
day. So if you go on and on and on, they're
Mhm.
hesitant to even call you back because they can't get through what they need
Right.
to get through everything in the
Right.
day. So I have a great person I screened this week for a position that would be a director level position. Great on paper, great personality, but couldn't get a word in edgewise, over expanded on everything, didn't allow me to get through my questions. So at this point, I'm
Yeah.
holding on sending them over because I don't want that to
Right.
reflect on me, right? Like, oh, well, Dana, aren't you paying
Yeah.
attention to the soft skills? Because
Right.
those of you that are listening, we look at two things. We look at your hard skills, meaning the actual skill sets and experience and knowledge you have to be able to do the job, certifications, education, experience with certain things. Soft skills are your ability to listen, your personality, your ability to
Hmm.
communicate, how you relate to
Yep.
others, how you manage relationships with those around you. You know, do you come across rude? Do you come across as a chip on your shoulder? Do
Ah.
you over communicate? Do you listen to what they're asking and answer appropriately?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I always tell people answer the question and then shut up.
Yes. That is so true. You know
Yeah.
what? And I'm guilty of it. I had to learn how to do that better over the years because I'm a talker.
Hmm.
And so, I had to learn to literally shut up and
Hmm.
listen.
Yeah. I'm a talker too.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Want to shout out to my man Gene Clay is with us. I see Debbie out there with us. Good morning. Is it still morning? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good morning. Good morning, Debbie. And we've got Melinda Anderson, who is a senior HR leader with us. Hey, Melinda, it's good to see you. I jokingly call her Melissa. Her name's not Melissa, it's Melinda. So, hey, Melissa. No, oh, wait. Anyway, okay. Y'all, thanks for joining us. And Mez, thank you for putting those
Yes.
people in there. Abby, I got another question. And this is a good one. I want to hear you and Dana's opinion on this.
Let's do
When
it.
Sure.
when we have discovered a job, and through our network, we might actually know, or might for somebody might have said in the company, they may say, "Hey, I know who the hiring manager is for this position." Before you go in to interview, do you guys suggest? What do y'all think? Do you suggest that we connect on LinkedIn, or send a LinkedIn invitation
No.
to connect?
No. 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 No.
Me too.
No.
Go. Tell us why.
No.
Tell
No.
us why. Tell us why, Ab.
No. No. Because the hiring manager doesn't know you from Adam, and the hiring manager the might have a network where that person only accepts people that they know and trust and like. And if you're not one of those people, it might come across as too aggressive.
Mhm.
That's why I say no, no, no.
Uh-huh.
But after the interview, maybe. If you think it went really, really well, maybe. But definitely not before.
Yep, I agree. 100%.
I'm 100% with that. I don't know how to articulate this, you guys. Dana, you're real good at figuring out things and how to word it out. But I feel a little pushed up against the fence if a
Mhm.
person, okay, I applied for this job and I want to connect with you. I feel a little cornered uh, when that's the case. I would rather not connect with you until after we have talked, after we have had our interview and that sort of thing. Before the interview, that's just me personally. So, how do I even articulate what I'm trying to say, Dana?
Let me just see if I understand what you're saying. So,
Okay.
okay, I will tell you this. When I was in the job search, I would go
Uh-huh.
on LinkedIn and I would look at the job, apply to the role, and then if
Uh-huh.
I could find somebody that um was attached to the role, I would message them and introduce myself and say I applied to the position, would love to set up a time to connect, and I would attach my resume. That was powerful. I had a lot of responses, and had I not done that, I would have got lost in the mix
Yeah.
applying, because sometimes there were some jobs is high. There were 2 jobs, one had 800 applicants, one had over 1,000 applicants. So,
Oh man.
I had to set myself apart, right? Most of them just had somewhere between 50 and 300 applicants. And so I would apply to the job, see who I could connect with that works there, that is one of the recruiters. I would send them a message because I paid for the one step up version of LinkedIn, and just say, "Hey, great to meet you. I applied to the role. I believe I'd be a great fit. Would love to set up a conversation. Here's my resume. Look forward to hearing back from you." Just something nice, professional, kind, to the point.
Hmm.
And it truly helped. I got calls set up that I probably wouldn't have
Good.
had calls set up for. I got interviews. I reached out, like I reconnected with people I'd worked with in the past. It set up it helped me get interviews aligned. So in that capacity, yes. But if a recruiter approaches you and you meet with them after reaching out to them on LinkedIn, and then they set up additional interviews for you with people in the company, that's when, per what we discussed earlier, you might want to wait to request to connect until after those interviews.
Uh-huh.
But when you're networking on LinkedIn and you haven't already spoken to someone from the company, you have to leverage that network to set yourself apart. And as a recruiter, I would
Absolutely.
love it when people would apply and then message me and just say, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know I applied to the role. I'm really excited. Would love to set up a time to connect." Because I'm pulled in so many directions during the day. When I would get that email, I'd be like, "Awesome. Well, they're really interested." So I'd look at the resume. "Yeah, that looks pretty good." And then I'd look to see if they applied. Yep, they did. And then I'd send them a message and set up a call. So in that circumstance, I 100% say you must. You must.
When
Mhm.
you
I
guys,
love that.
yeah, yeah.
That.
When you guys are networking, remember, guys, remember that connect with someone that can absolutely look and see and contact those people that are, hey, you have a common connection. Because I don't like cold calls. I like to, if I'm trying to connect with Abby and I don't know Abby, but I see that Dana is a common connection, I'm going to call Dana and I'm going to say, "Dana, how well do you know Abby?"
Mhm.
Uh, because I'd like to talk to Abby. There's a job at Abby's company I'd like to apply for, and at some point I'm going to want to connect with Abby. What do I need to know about Abby that I can be somewhat of a warm handoff rather than just some dude coming up out of the clear blue that just wants to connect with you? Uh
Oh,
oh.
I hear the music.
Yes, we will be back. Abby,
Uh,
if you can stay with it, if you can, stay with us. We're going to talk to Carl and we're going to cover what Carl does and all that stuff because I want you to hear about Carl's a senior
Yeah.
executive.
Thanks,
all
Abby.
right.
You're
Sounds good.
awesome.
See you guys in a
You're
second.
welcome.
Look no further than Romika Laser Engraving and Custom Designs. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs. We offer custom laser engraving services for a variety of products, including promotional items and corporate or personal gifts. With state-of-the-art equipment and a team of skilled designers, we can engrave intricate designs on virtually any material. Whether it's a special message, a company logo, or a custom design, Romika Laser Engraving will help you make your mark. And the best part, our prices are affordable and our turnaround time is quick.
I couldn't be happier with the work Romika Laser Engraving did for me. The engraving on my product was precise and exactly what I wanted.
So don't wait any longer to add a personal touch to your products. Call Romika Laser Engraving and Custom Designs today at 817-400-4040 or visit our website at romikadesigns.com. We look forward to helping you make your mark.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395. Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
Joco Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
Hey, Jobfather Nation. We are back for the second half of the Jobfather. Just keep in mind that the Jobfather radio show is part of the Joco Community Radio Network, the voice of Johnson County, Texas. To listen to any of Joco Radio's phenomenal shows, especially yours truly, the Jobfather, just go to your store, whether it's iOS or Android, download the Joco Community Radio app and listen to anything you want on that lineup and more. Well, Foster, we are excited for the second half of the show. We have got a phenomenal guest with of course, the gold stamp of approval.
Oh, yeah. Jobfather stamp of approval. Thank you, Maz.
Sorry, those are a little tight. So, yeah, Foster, let's introduce our guest and get the show on the road.
Yeah, let's do that. Hey, you're a pretty good singer. We might have to get you
No, I'm not a good singer.
Good voice. Okay, guys, companies, I want you guys to listen very carefully. We've got my buddy Karl Swinford with us. That's Swinford. And Karl is a leader in supply chain and logistics, and he is going to tell us a little bit. We're going to talk to him. He's a Duke fellow. My daughter went to Duke.
Ooh,
and
impressive.
He's a Dookie, and
oh my gosh,
that's what we.
Sorry, Karl.
Like
this happens every week. No, I'm just kidding.
Karl, that ain't the first time you heard that. I hope it ain't. But I got a special part in my heart for Duke University. So. Doing pretty good in football this year. Anyway, yeah, I am squirreling out over here, Maz. But guys, Karl is up in New Hampshire. And Karl would not mind moving to Texas where the weather's a little bit warmer.
You mean God's country?
Oh, that too. Oh, yeah. The corporate climate is probably a lot more intricate than where he is right now. But he is open to reload is what I'm trying to say. So you companies all over the United States, when you talk to Karl, I want you to hear Karl and hear about what he's done and the industries and things where he's been. And then you might want to have a call with Karl and talk to him about a need that you may have or a need that you may have coming up. So, and when you talk to him, remember, hey, he doesn't have a problem with reloading if you guys talk the right sauce. So, morning, Karl.
Morning, Foster. Morning, Danny. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. So glad you're here.
Absolutely. Now, Karl, you've been a vice president in logistics before. And tell us a little bit about what that is, what that functionality is. What did you do as a vice president of logistics?
Yeah, it's a good question. So, a lot of it is in logistics, transportation, supply chain, really in general, you're supporting the business. You're, in a lot of respects, a cost center for the business. You're not driving revenue. So it's really about building the relationships within the organization
Ah,
and finding ways to add value, whether that's through cost savings, through efficiencies you can gain in the supply chain, keeping things in stock, having product delivered when and where you need it. I'm a big data analytics individual. It's one of the reasons I went back to get the MBA, and so it's a lot about being able to communicate to the business what's happening in their supply chain. In my background, what's happening in the logistics department, what their true costs are,
right.
being able to take that out and budget it, and then track it and communicate that with the other executives, CEO, CFO of the organization, so they can understand what their actual costs are, and then
Yeah.
take that information, set strategies, work with, depending on the organization, sales teams, operating teams, so that they can, plan their budgets and grow the business around, because transportation, logistics, supply chain is a large cost center for most organizations.
Oh yeah.
So it's very important that they understand those costs and that they are able to track them and monitor them appropriately, and that they understand what's happening in those industries, so that they can help plan their outlook for the business, whether that's next quarter, next year. A lot of what I did also was developing strategy and execution, working with our logistic partners. So we did a lot of, my primary background is in rail. So working a lot with the railroads, whether that's developing contract rates, working through service interruptions, developing strategies, working with new business opportunities, supporting our sales team so that they can help get those new customers into the business, and that we can grow the company through those relationships.
Karl, if someone were to come to you and say, okay, you have phenomenal education, excellent experience, um, you know, great experience as far as the railroad industry. I'm not sure if you have some other areas, industry specific, that you have experience in, but what would you tell them if they asked you what would set you apart from other supply
Oh,
and logistics leaders that we could hire at this point in time?
Sure, good question. So I've been, I guess you could say, fortunate in the last couple of roles that I've been in to come into organizations that had an existing logistics department, but it was very rudimentary, very basic. Not really the KPIs and metrics that you would like to see.
Yeah.
So a lot of experience developing the KPIs, building those metrics out, so that the company now understands what their true costs are of landing goods, when they're moving across our network, so they can then benchmark that and say, hey, here's what our margin, our price needs to be. Because there's so many different little pockets where you can lose money or be spending money that you don't understand unless you develop these KPIs and metrics out, so that you can track where your dollars are going and benchmarking how your performance and your cost is going on a month, weekly, quarterly basis, what have you. So a lot of the experience I have of being able to develop that out, I think really separates me out from people that are really maybe good at the job, but don't have the deep data analytics. Logistics is a lot like sports. If you're a really developed logistics department, you track and you monitor every data point, or as many as you can, so that you can really understand what's happening in your network, where your costs are at, so that you can either communicate that and benchmark it, or find ways for improvement.
Okay. Yeah. No, I appreciate you sharing that. So industry wise, I know you mentioned railroad. Are there other industries that you're open to?
With my background, I'd like to say that I could fit in a lot of locations. I was with a large railroad for several years, then in the oil and gas industry, most recently in the waste management industry. Really, any organization or industry that has to move goods and service, or goods and freight across the U.S. or globally, I think I can fit into. My background has primarily been in rail logistics. I've also had some involvement in trucking and ocean freight, but I really think I could fit into a lot of locations. I'm having some conversations with some companies in the food industry, some more oil and gas industry organizations.
Awesome.
So it's pretty broad, and unfortunately that perspectives, I would say it's kind of similar to HR or IT or
Mhm.
finance, where you could go a lot of directions. It's just finding the
Mhm.
right fit for the organization.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that does. Hey, Carl, uh, are you the person, or do you designate a person on your team that is the liaison for the company that you're working with? Because sometimes you guys, in your instance, you move stuff all over the United States. You want to make sure it gets there on time. You want to make sure that it gets there safely. All of that sort of thing. And with your planning at the VP level, have you found sometimes that you felt it was necessary for you to connect with the client yourself?
Oh, absolutely. We very frequently engage with our customers at the appropriate levels to let them know what's going on with their shipments and where
Yeah.
they're tracking. Whether in the rail industry, and a lot of times it's empty rail cars or loaded rail cars, depending on the nature of the business you're doing. And unfortunately, railroads, they're not perfect. They
Yes,
try their best, but they have a lot of challenges in their own industry that they're facing on a day-to-day basis. So
Yeah.
um, it's very important to us that we monitor that. We're in regular communication with the rail carriers so that we can know what's going on with our shipments and communicate that then internally as well as externally to clients and customers, so that we like to what we call like a turnkey service.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we kind of covered all aspects of the shipments once the rail cars were loaded and shipped out. So
Oh, wow.
very engaging with customers. A lot of customer service, customer support, both internal and external, is something I've done quite extensively. A lot of that would happen kind of at my director or below level initially. If
uh-huh,
there was longer term issues where we needed to engage with a higher level person in the rail organization, that's where I might step in and have those conversations, and have those conversations both employees, both the appropriate folks in my team on
right.
what's going on in the industry and the impact to our business.
Yeah.
Now that's I always ask because I'm a customer. The companies that I've always worked for, even though I was at the director level and I was the big time recruiting dude behind the scenes, I always like to reach out to some of our customers. In the multitude of companies I work for, they suggested, "Fussell, we want you to go. We want you to go talk to them." And when you know those processes and you know how to make those changes, you got people on your team, like what Carl's talking about, that would be
Yeah.
responsible. And he's got a track record with those folks. If there's a little twist, a different time, or whatever is involved in that logistics process, Carl would be able to designate the right person to get that done. And I just want you guys to think a little bit about it. I invited a couple of companies for you to listen to you, Carl. And if you companies have questions, Trinity, if you have any questions, just type it in the chat. And I see Mez as a wonderful, wonderful networker, and she has a question. Carl, have
Yeah.
you looked at Texas Railroad Commission?
Ah, that's a good
I
one.
have not.
Yeah, yeah. Check
Okay.
them out, Carl. And as you were talking, I was thinking about an old client of mine, and that's DFW Airport. Check out
Oh,
DFW Airport as well,
Yeah,
guys.
interesting.
yeah. I mean, I've thought pretty strongly about air industry. I mean, there's a lot of ties
Uh-huh.
um,
Mhm.
between the rail logistics and air. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some differences, but a lot of similarities when you really think about the strategy that you have to develop and these moving parts and the constraints that they have. So quite a few similarities in those industries.
Oh,
Yes. And Maz, again, I love your brain. It takes a lot of brains to do this show. But Maz says, Foster, don't forget the focus group at South Lake Focus. Um,
don't forget it.
Carl, there's two different kind of groups in this network. I'm always talking about this network. Guys, we have general networking groups like South Lake Focus Group and Frisco Connect, but we have special interest groups. One of our special interest groups is a supply chain and logistics focus group where people get together, people that are in the industry with Carl, leaders, other people that are all throughout that industry meet every Wednesday. Carl, did I introduce you to a gentleman named Alvin Donahue by any chance?
I don't think so.
I'm going to do that. He runs that group. I think one day when you got time, pop in with those guys and network with those guys because they're talking about stuff directly in your industry.
Awesome.
Yeah. And that's what the network's all about, guys, is we get out there, we'll meet a person like Abby Kohut, we'll meet Dana Gingerich, all these people, and we put our brains together and say, okay, Karl is looking for a job in logistics. And who do I know? And we've got a number of trucking companies and different people down here in Texas because
Yeah.
we got a dynamo down here in Texas of things that are going on, and those things have to be moved. A lot of the logistics and supply chain has to be done down here in Texas to move products out, move products in, get things done. There is one more company, Karl, I want to throw at you, and it is over in Fort Worth. It is the Ben E.
Hmm.
Keith Company. You remember
Huh.
Ben E. You remember Ben E. Keith? They're a food distributor.
Mhm.
They're a
Yeah.
big food distributor. And Dana, are you familiar with Ben E. Keith?
No, I'm not. That's why I'm trying to think. I'm not.
Hmm. I love them. And guys, they for years, and I mean years, uh, I like to have people go check them out because nobody ever leaves Benny Keith. They
It's
really,
a
really
good
take care of them.
company.
It's a good company. They
Yeah,
really, really take care of their employees. They're known for that.
that's important. That is
Boy,
so important.
yes. And so check out Benny Keith. They don't generally have a lot of opportunities, but when they do, oh man, you're talking about a good company to work for.
Yeah,
Wow.
that
They,
sounds pretty cool.
That is the head HR person that used to be over there. He was their CHRO. Is a good
Yeah.
friend of mine, and he
Oh,
actually Sam. His name is Sam Reeves, and
yeah.
he actually took time in his from his very very important position back in the day, Dana. Back when I was starting the network, he
Yeah.
took the time. He heard about what I was doing, and he took the time to sit with me and talk about networking and how he did it. How because Sam is really really known heavily in the networking arena, has been for
Oh,
probably
wow.
20 years around Dallas. And he took the time to sit down and talk to me about the nuances of networking. I really, really like that because a lot of stuff that I ended up doing were ideas that I got from Sam. Sam, I hope you're listening. I think I think you
That's amazing.
I know it is. It is. Guys, if you don't get out, once again, even on Zoom, if you don't get out amongst people, you won't hear things. You won't hear certain
Yeah.
people that you need to connect with. Everybody knows somebody, y'all. Especially the folks in the network, because most of us in the network are seasoned professionals. Y'all, I didn't say old. I said
Mm-mm.
seasoned professionals.
Seasoned.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like Karl. Karl is a leader. He's been in and around logistics for a while. He has moved up through the ranks. Now he is the boss. He is the
Hmm.
one that figures things out. He will apply employees to a system to figure things out. So, Karl, I'm really, really glad that you're with us, and we want to get you out of New Hampshire. This is a this
Got
is
to
a
get you to
crazy.
God's country.
Got to get you to God's country. I know you people in Colorado are thinking, "Oh, we're thinking about up there." So listen, guys, if somebody's in Colorado, one of you companies, call Karl, talk to him. I want you guys to talk to Karl because you can talk about some of the issues that you guys have, and Karl can probably help you solve some of the issues. And you want to hire Karl and get him in there. And now we love Texas because we got a lot of stuff going on down here in Texas. And that is one of the areas that Karl is interested in moving to. Karl, let me ask you another question. So, is there another area of the United States that you would consider moving to?
It's a good question.
Yeah, I'm not really tied to anything. If you would have asked me 4 years ago if I was wanting to move to New Hampshire, I
Yeah.
wouldn't
You
have
might have
picked it.
been like,
So yeah, I don't think that I'm tied to anyone. Texas obviously we have family in that area, so that's
Oh
what
yeah.
makes the strong connection to Texas.
yeah.
But really, I have 4 young kids and a wife, and it's really about the right opportunity for myself and for my family.
For your
Yeah.
family.
So
Absolutely.
that's the main focus is the opportunity is even more important than the location.
Yeah. That
To be
makes
Hmm.
honest.
sense. That makes
Hmm.
sense.
Oh yeah, I got to introduce you to Alvin. Alvin's one of our leaders. Of course, he runs our special interest group that focuses on supply chain and logistics.
Alvin.
Alvin, I see Vivek is with us. Vivek. I hope I'm saying that right, Vivek. Vivek Goel. And thanks for joining us, Vivek. Uh, Carl, let me ask you another question. So, um, is there an industry? Do you prefer rail stuff? I know you got a lot of experience in rail. Or are there other companies that you would be interested
Yeah.
in that you feel that your background would would do a good
Lend
job of
nicely
looking at
to.
lend nicely to that? Right, right, right.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I mentioned earlier, like my deep interest in data analytics and continuous improvement.
Uh
So
huh.
I think even in a role, operations or processing type role, where you're looking through processes on how can you improve different things. What's the problem here? Budgeting, forecasting, operations management. Um, I think the skills that I've developed through my logistics career and my education could really drive value in those types of roles for
Uh huh.
organizations that have a need for someone that has the understanding of continuous improvement and those value add capabilities.
I'm glad you said what you just said. I'm gonna throw another
Yeah.
couple of ideas at you.
I like that. Good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Carl, we have well, they're thinking about moving to my hometown. In my hometown, we have a company called SpaceX, and I'm sure
Mhm.
you're familiar with Elon Musk and those guys. Hopefully, I get a chance to meet him one day when I go home to McGregor, Texas. Shout out to McGregor, Texas. But at the same time, I want to suggest, and you may have already done this, that you check out Tesla. We have a number of employees that I have helped land at Tesla, and they definitely got some logistics issues. Any
Oh,
company
yes.
like that is going to. So
Yeah.
check out Tesla, if you will, and SpaceX.
Ooh.
Sure, absolutely.
Oh, you see how my mind's going, you guys? That's why they call me Jump Father, I guess.
SpaceX.
SpaceX. Check out NASA as well, because on my short time in Florida, did you hear me? You hear that, Abby?
And that was and those were like your I mean, you your wheelhouse. I mean,
Yeah,
everything aerospace. I mean, that's awesome.
yeah. Yeah, I had a couple of contracts with NASA, and one of the people that I needed to hire was a logistics leader for NASA,
Oh,
uh,
awesome.
out in Cape Canaveral. It was neat. It was really neat. And
Huh.
NASA, I'm still on your vendors list, so if you need something, call me.
That's awesome.
So yeah, yeah, let's throw NASA in there as well, Carl. While you and I talk, and while we're thinking of companies that we can go and check out, that's it. Now, let me ask Abby. Abby, uh, are you on Staffing Symphony? Have you seen some logistics leadership roles listed on Staffing Symphony? Uh oh, she's muted.
Yeah. Hi, Foster. There are always logistics roles. There's all kinds of roles. It just depends on the day that you look. There could be vice president roles. Literally all kinds of roles all over the country, and you can check the box remote if you want to work remotely, or you can look for any of the jobs that would relocate you. So yeah, so that's he can definitely look there, and that would be a good idea, Carl. Take a look
Thank
there.
you. I will.
Thanks, Tiffany. Yeah.
I'm going to be the job father again. You guys know how I am about things.
That's
Carl,
important. You're right, a job
absolutely.
father.
So, Carl, make sure that you connect with Abby. Her last name is Kohut. Abby
Hmm.
Kohut. Abby does the same thing that me and Dana do, and Abby's got connections all over the United States. So I think at the very least, if you guys are connected on LinkedIn, as you're going along and you have a question or something, I may direct you towards Abby.
Mm.
On some of the relationships across the United States that she's had, because at a time there was a time where she was in their face. I mean, Abby and I took a trip down to Houston. There are a lot of opportunities, a lot of companies down in Houston, uh, and Abby helped me connect with a lot of the people across the United States that I'm connected with right now that became part of the Career Surf Network.
Aw,
Thank you.
that's so awesome.
Thank you for remembering that.
Oh, absolutely. Abby,
Foster's the best.
He
Abby
is.
is a fire plug. And she's she's a really good recruiter. Companies, you guys, Abby is a contract recruiter. You guys might want to consider talking to
Mhm.
Abby about a contract role with your company. She'll tell you all about where she's been and what she's got done. And oh, Abby's got some of the coolest story. We recruiters, we got stories. Me and
Oh,
Dana,
yeah.
we get together and laugh all the time over dinner and all kinds of stuff.
You
But
know how we roll.
I I didn't want to forget to put that out there because Abby is a contractor. She's got loads of experience in a lot of different arenas, and I didn't want to forget that to put that out there. I hope I didn't mess up and say something that I wasn't
No,
supposed to, Abby.
it's exactly what I would have said. And the best part about being a contractor is that I save companies so much money
Yeah, oh
because
yeah.
they're not paying for headhunter fees.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, those fees are ridiculous.
Yep.
It's a good thing they have you, Abby.
Thank you. I like to be doing it and want to do just much more. Much more.
Well, you're really good at what you do. I can tell that.
Thank you.
Abby
I
is
already
Abby's
connected Foster and my HR generalist. I already sent it
good.
to
Perfect.
Yeah. Yep.
Perfect.
hmm
And Abby's been in healthcare too before. So has this person been, it's not important in this case, but has this person been in healthcare?
Huh.
Yes. I
Abby?
used to work with her in healthcare.
Ah,
I
uh-huh.
specialize in healthcare too.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yep. Yep.
Love
Y'all,
it.
you guys see how this networking thing works? All you got to
It
do is get out, meet people, talk to people, ask questions. That's how it gets done, you guys. Now,
exactly.
now getting back to Carl, my screen keeps going. Every time somebody puts something in the chat, my screen goes down to the chat, and I have to bring it back up. But
Yeah.
Carl, anytime, and of course, you and I do this. Utilize me because any opportunities that you dig up, you might see something on Staffing Symphony. Ask me, Foster, do you have a relationship? Dana and I always get close to the screen when we say that.
Relationship.
Do you have
So
a
important.
relationship, Foster, with someone in this
Yeah.
company? You will be surprised. Companies all over the United States, because of this show and because of another show that we had called the Who You Know Job Networking Show, I have made relationships with a number of people, especially
Yeah.
in HR. And those are the folks, a lot of times, those are the folks that you want to connect with are the talent acquisition people like Abby and I and Dana and
Abby.
the HR people. I like it because I know if I have someone a connection in a company and they're in HR, I know I can reach out and we can talk. So, Carl, if you see something, continue to do what you're doing. Reach out and say, hey, Foster, who you know.
Who do
Absolutely.
you
No, I
know,
really appreciate it.
Foster?
I love it. I love it. We're going to try to get you down here. I can't think of the company, but there's a company in Atlanta that I want to have you check out as well. Hey, Jason Hopper.
Hey,
I
J
hear
Hop.
music. I hear music, Dana. We're going away. We'll see you
That's
guys
right.
next
We'll see you
Friday.
next week.
Thank you for joining us on
Yay!
Jobfather.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abby.
Hey, travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online.